Eleanor was the kind of mother who showed love through food. Sunday roasts, fresh bread on the counter, a plate pushed toward you the moment you walk through the door. So when she started leaving most of her dinner untouched, her daughter Susan did what any of us would do. She worried, she coaxed, she pureed the chicken, thinned the soup, bought the expensive nutrition shakes, and held the spoon up gently, again and again. And every time, Eleanor turned her head away. Susan called me in tears one afternoon, convinced she was failing her mother. "She's going to starve," she whispered, "and it will be my fault." I'm telling you this not to scare you, but to share a truth that nobody seems to talk about. Losing the desire to eat and drink near the end of life is not a failure. It is not giving up, and in most cases, it is not painful. It is one of the most natural things the human body does as it begins its final work. If you are caring for someone you love, a parent, a spouse, a dear friend, and they have stopped eating, this video is for you. Over the next few minutes, we are going to walk through what is actually happening inside their body, why it is happening, what you may notice at the bedside, and the gentle, loving things you can do instead of fighting against it. And here is the most important thing I want you to carry with you through every word that follows. You are not causing your loved one's decline by respecting what their body is asking for. You are honoring it. Stick with me, because by the end, I believe you will be able to set down some of the guilt you have been carrying and understand your loved one's journey with far more peace. And in just a few moments, I'm going to share the single most comforting thing a hospice nurse told me about this very moment, the thing that changed everything for Susan and her mother. First, the body is slowing down on purpose. To understand why a dying person stops eating, we have to start with a simple idea that changes the whole picture. The body is not shutting down by accident. It is slowing down with intention. Think about your own body for a second. Every single thing you eat has to be chewed, swallowed, broken down, absorbed, and carried through your bloodstream to every cell. That is hard work. Digestion is actually one of the most energy-hungry jobs the body performs. When a person is healthy, that work is worth it because food is fuel for living. But near the end of life, the body's priorities shift. It begins conserving its remaining energy for the things that matter most: the heart, the lungs, the brain, the organs that keep someone present with you. So the body quietly starts turning down systems it no longer needs to run at full power. And one of the first to be dialed back is digestion. This is not a malfunction. It is the body's own quiet wisdom. A body that is preparing to let go does not need to build muscle, store fat, or repair tissue the way it once did. So the appetite, that old reliable signal that said eat, simply fades. What families often notice is how gradual this can be. First, it's, "I'm just not hungry," then smaller portions, then a favorite meal pushed away, then maybe days where nothing sounds good at all. It can happen over weeks, or it can happen more quickly. And here is the part that breaks so many hearts. The person may even seem a little relieved to let the food go. You have to understand, for someone whose body no longer wants food, the act of eating can feel like work, like a chore, not a comfort, but a burden. So when you see them push the plate away, they are not rejecting you. They are listening to a body that is trying to make things easier for them. Now, before we move to the next point, hold on to this question because it's the one every family asks. If eating is supposed to be so natural, why does it sometimes cause actual discomfort near the end? That is exactly what we're going to talk about next, and it explains why just one more bite can backfire in a way you never intended. 2. food can become uncomfortable, even painful. Here is the part that surprises most families. When digestion slows down, food does not move through the body the way it used to. It can sit, it can linger in the stomach long after a meal, and that leads to feelings we have all had on some small scale. Fullness, bloating, nausea, a heavy, queasy sensation that just will not lift. Now imagine feeling that way and having someone you love gently urging you to eat more. That is the heartbreaking reversals so many families experience. The food we offer out of love can become the very thing causing our loved one distress. They are not being stubborn, they are avoiding something that makes them feel worse. There is another piece to this too. A body that is slowing down has a harder time handling food and fluids the way it once did. The stomach empties more slowly, the digestive tract moves more sluggishly. What used to be a warm, nourishing meal can now leave a person feeling heavy, uncomfortable, or even sick. So when you see your loved one clamp their mouth shut or turn their head or push the spoon away, try to hear what that gesture is really saying. It is often saying, "Please, no more. That hurts me now." They may not be able to find the words, but the message is clear if we are willing to listen. This is where I want to plant one gentle caution that will matter more and more as we go. There is a real difference between offering and urging. Offering respects their answer. Urging pushes past it, and pushing past it, especially when swallowing is becoming difficult, can lead to something far more serious than an upset stomach. That is the very next thing we need to face together, and it is the reason hospice teams ask families to be so careful at the bedside. Third, swallowing gets harder, and forcing food can hurt. We do not think much about swallowing until it becomes difficult. It is one of those automatic things the body just does until, near the end of life, it doesn't. As the body slows, the muscles that coordinate swallowing weaken. The throat does not clear as it should. A sip of water or a small bite of food that once went down easily can now go down the wrong way. And when food or liquid slips into the airway instead of the stomach, the body responds the only way it can, with coughing, choking, and distress. In some cases, food or liquid that enters the lungs can lead to what is called aspiration, and aspiration can lead to pneumonia. This is a very real risk, and it is one of the main reasons hospice and palliative teams gently advise against forcing food or drink on someone who is struggling to swallow. So when a loved one begins coughing at the bedside or seems to hold food in their mouth or takes a long, difficult time with each bite, that is not something to push through. That is a signal. Their body is telling all of us that eating is no longer safe in the way it once was. Here is what I want you to remember above everything in this section. Your loved one is not going to starve because you honor this signal. The danger is not in the eating stopping. The danger is in the eating continuing when the body can no longer manage it. Forcing a bite past a cough, a choke, a turned head, that is what causes harm. Letting go of the spoon when the body says no is what protects them. I want to pause here because I know this is heavy. Take a breath if you need to. You are doing something very hard, and you are doing it out of pure love. Hold on to that. And now, let me answer the question that follows naturally from everything we have just covered. If they aren't eating, surely they must be terribly thirsty, and surely we should be giving them more to drink. The answer may surprise you, and it leads us to one of the most misunderstood parts of this entire journey. Fourth, thirst fades too, and more fluids are not always the answer. It feels instinctive. A person who is not drinking must be thirsty, so we bring the water, the juice, the little sponge on a stick, and we worry that every dry lip is a cry for help. But here is the quiet truth. Near the end of life, the sensation of thirst often fades along with the appetite. The body's signals change. The mouth may feel dry, and we will talk in a moment about how to comfort that, but the deep, driving thirst that makes a healthy person crave water is often simply not there in the same way. There is another layer to this that many families are never told. When the body is slowing down, it may not process extra fluids well anymore. Fluids that are pushed in can build up, in the legs, in the lungs, in the tissues. That buildup can cause swelling, congestion, and a rattling sound in the chest or throat that families often find deeply upsetting. In some cases, adding more fluid actually increases discomfort rather than relieving it. This is also why hospice teams sometimes recommend against artificial hydration near the very end. It is not a decision to withhold care. It is a decision to prevent the discomfort that extra fluid can create in a body that no longer needs it. So what do you do about that dry mouth? This is one of the most loving, practical things you can offer. Small sips of water if the person is able and alert and wants them. Ice chips to melt slowly on the tongue. A moistened swab touched gently to the lips and inside the cheeks. Lip balm to keep the skin from cracking. These comfort the mouth without forcing fluids the body cannot handle. None of this is about giving up. It is about shifting from the goal of nourishment to the goal of comfort. And that shift, more than almost anything else, is what allows a family to become a source of peace rather than pressure at the bedside. Now, I promised you earlier the single most comforting thing a hospice nurse ever told me about this exact moment. We have arrived at it. It is the truth that finally let Susan stop crying at her mother's bedside, and I believe it will do the same for you. It is this: your loved one is not experiencing this the way you fear they are. Fifth, this is not starvation and it is not suffering. Let me say that again because it is the heart of everything. A dying person who stops eating is not starving in the way we imagine. They are not lying there racked with hunger, silently begging for a meal we are refusing to give. The body does something remarkable here. As the appetite fades and the digestive system slows, the body also produces natural chemical changes that can actually ease distress and even bring a kind of calm. Some people near the end of life describe a sense of peace, a softness, a drifting quality, not the gnawing pain of hunger, but a gentle letting go. I want you to truly absorb this because it is the thought that will return to you in the quiet hours. The experience of hunger that you and I know, the empty, aching, must-eat-now feeling, belongs to a body that is actively trying to live. A body that is preparing to die does not hunger that way. The rules change, and the person you love is far more comfortable than your own instincts are telling you they must be. So please, set down the fear that you are harming them. Set down the fear that you are killing them by starvation. You are not. The illness or the age or the natural end of life is doing its quiet work. You are simply being asked to walk beside it gently instead of fighting against it. There is a phrase hospice teams use that I have come to love: comfort over calories. Not a single bite will change the outcome now, but your presence, your touch, your soft voice, your willingness to sit in the stillness, those change everything about how this moment feels for both of you. Which brings us to the part that is really for you, the person holding the spoon. Because once you understand what is happening to them, the next question becomes, what do I actually do now? What you can do, starting today. Let me give you practical, gentle steps, the things I would tell you if we were sitting together at your kitchen table. First, offer, but never force. Hold the cup, offer the spoon, present the food with love, and then accept their answer, whatever it is. A turned head, a closed mouth, a whispered, "No thank you." These are answers. Respecting them is not defeat, it is dignity. Second, follow their lead. Some days they may want a bite of ice cream or a spoonful of applesauce, and that is worth more than gold. Not for the nutrition, but for the pleasure, the memory, the taste of something they loved. If they ask for it, offer it freely, in whatever tiny amount feels right. If they don't, let it be. Third, shift your energy from feeding to comforting. Keep their mouth moist, hold their hand, speak softly, even if they cannot answer, because hearing is often one of the last senses to fade. Tell them you love them. Tell them it is okay. Those words nourish something food never could. Fourth, care for yourself. This is not a luxury, it is essential. You cannot pour comfort from an empty cup. Step outside for air. Eat a real meal yourself. Sleep when you can. Accept help when it is offered. The guilt that tries to convince you that resting is selfish, that guilt is lying to you. Fifth, lean on your care team. The hospice nurse, the palliative doctor, the social worker. They have walked this road with many families, and they can answer the specific questions that only apply to your situation. No question is too small, and no worry is too silly to bring to them. And here is my last piece of guidance, the one that is hardest for so many of us. Do not take the refusal personally. Your loved one is not rejecting your love, your cooking, or your care. They are responding to a body that has begun its final work. The love you have poured into every meal all these years, that love has already landed. It is inside them. It has shaped who they are. A turned-away spoon cannot take any of that away. Before we close, I want to leave you with the most important reminders of all, the truths to carry with you into whatever comes next. And I want to say one more thing about how unique this journey is for every single person, because that is the piece families most need to hear and least often do. So let me gather it all together simply. Losing the desire to eat and drink at the end of life is normal. It is not a failure of care, and it is not something you caused. The body is slowing down on purpose, conserving its energy and turning off the systems it no longer needs. Food and fluids that once nourished can begin to cause discomfort. Fullness, nausea, bloating, and swallowing can become difficult and even unsafe. So honoring a loved one's no is not giving up on them. It is protecting them from harm. Thirst often fades along with appetite, and forcing more fluids can sometimes add to discomfort rather than relieve it. Small comforts, ice chips, moist swabs, lip balm, a soft touch matter far more than an extra sip. And above all, this is not starvation, and it is not suffering. The person you love is not experiencing this the way your fears insist they must be. Their body is gently, quietly letting go, and your job is not to stop it, but to make the letting go as peaceful and as loved as it can possibly be. And now, the part I most want you to remember. Every single person's journey is unique. Some people eat small amounts almost until the very end. Some stop days or even weeks before. Some drift in and out. A good day, then a quiet day, then another good day. There is no clock here, and no one can give you a timeline, and anyone who tries is guessing. Your loved one's path is their own, and the best thing you can do is walk it with them, moment by moment, without demanding that it look like anyone else's. There is a great dignity in what the body knows how to do. It knew how to form this person, how to grow them, how to carry them through a lifetime of mornings and meals and heartbeats. It knows how to finish, too. Trusting that wisdom is not surrender. It is reverence. If this video helped you understand what your loved one may be experiencing, please consider subscribing. Our goal is to help families navigate these difficult moments with knowledge and compassion. And before you go, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What has your experience been? Have you cared for someone who stopped eating near the end? Please share your story below. Your wisdom could be the lifeline someone else needs to read today. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself and of the one you love.